organizations that want to speak. And
Okay, yeah.
Hi, everybody. Wanda Edwards, and I'm here with some other fellow survivors, Vanessa and Kay and Carla, and we represent Sophia, which is out of Montclair, which stands for Start Out Fresh Intervention Advocates. And you know, the backstory behind Sophia is that there was a very tragic murder in Montclair at the local YMCA. A mother was picking up her children, and the husband came in and shot her point blank in front of her children, other families, and you know, and it rocked the neighborhood. And so Cynthia Walker, who couldn't be here today, she's our executive director, and she met with the woman's mother at like a township meeting, and the woman's mother said, "There's nothing here. We didn't even see this coming. We knew nothing about violence or domestic violence and what our children are seeing in the home." And so Cynthia, that's where Sophia came from. We're going into our 10th year now, I believe. And like everyone was saying, one of the things that we focus on are the children, because the person who is doing the abusing, the person who is susceptible to being vulnerable like that, something happened to them when they were little. They saw something, they heard something, they felt something. So our children are really, really important, because a lot of times they don't know what they're seeing or what they're hearing. So we do a lot of teen dating workshops, and we don't address it as domestic violence. It's healthy versus unhealthy. So we do it, you know, based on their age group. But, you know, like everybody's saying, it's something that we just need to talk about. And thank you to Salima. Thank you to the makeup squad. I'm still a little angry with wardrobe, but it's all good. I'm only playing. Thank you guys so much. This was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Raheem, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you.
thank you. Miss Jack?
Oh, shit.
Oh, dear.
Hi, everyone. I'm the executive director of My Sister's Lighthouse. We're a resource center that works directly with domestic violence and sexual abuse women. We get down to the nitty gritty, because we feel if you've been in a relationship over 10 years or more, or even less, it takes a lot longer to go through the system and get some help, because you just don't get over those anxious and those feelings of fear. We also work with helping you to sustain safety, which is we work with giving you self-defense. So sometimes if you feel empowered, you will feel better when you move into your independence. My organization works with most of the schools, the hospitals. We do a lot of awareness. I'm a survivor. I lost my eye at 18 years old. Somebody hit me one time and broke all the blood vessels in my right eye. I have a detached retina. And I think about that, you know, and people usually say, oh my God, you know, like it's hurtful. But, you know, that time it was hurtful. But this time, God has given me a new vision, you know, and a vision to help people like myself. Because I was stuck for a long time. And stuck meaning not knowing where to go, helpless, no resources. And I grew up in a small town where they didn't have anything. All they did was have talk. You go from one person to another, tell them the story. But I realized that sitting down and just listening to someone, because one of the things is that I find is that a lot of us work with a lot of women that go to the bathroom and cry every day. And we never know when they come back that they have had a problem, because they know how to do it so well. They have learned how to act so well that we can work along. It's the conversation that we have with one another. Is that we might say to one another, if that was me, he wouldn't do that to me. But that conversation is what keeps her from telling you. She could go home and be dying every day and want to tell you, but it's your conversation that we have to be careful how we say what we say that's going to hurt someone else. So I work directly with women and men, but I work directly with people trying to heal the inside. And what I say to them is take your shoes off, because whatever happened to you, you didn't just get into a relationship with someone, you were not attracted to someone, you were looking to for negativity. It has happened to you. Whatever happened a long time ago, we have to dig back there and find out what caused you to be attracted to something so negative. So, My Sister's Lighthouse, Jacqueline Line.
Thank you.
So, beautiful women. My name is Richard Whitten. I am the
family support worker for Babyland Family Services. Some of you may be aware Babyland Family Services was the first domestic violence agency opened in the state of New Jersey back in 1982. Unfortunately, because the state decided to move into a different direction, now we only have one domestic violence center in Essex County, okay? But understanding that this is a tremendous need within our community, us men, we have to be more sensitive to how we approach some of our women. Some of the women who we invited here today, I felt a little uncomfortable at first in approaching them because I did not want to have them share their feelings unnecessarily. But I do applaud some of the women I had to ask extra twice, you know, for them to come out because they gave me all kinds of excuses not to come. And they were talking about doing something for someone else. And I explained to them that they had to do this for themselves. Okay? This is something for you. Whoever that person is, whatever activity that is, it'll be good tomorrow. Or it'll be good next week when you get back to it. But definitely want to thank Brother Raheem Devon. Want to thank Sister Michelle. And want to thank Sister Selena. I mean, because this is a tremendous opportunity for the women who were here. A tremendous opportunity. Many of our women constantly sacrifice themselves for what they do, for their children, for their jobs, for the husband, for this action, for that action, and very seldom do our women do stuff for them. So Brother Raheem, definitely want to thank you. Want to thank you, Sister Michelle, and Sister Selena, she's hiding over there someplace, but want to thank her for opening up her home. And definitely want to thank the stylists. I mean, because you guys did stuff with love. You received the women with love today. I mean, you are, like, I was trying to take a couple pictures of some people, and they said, no, because I don't want my work to be misrepresented. So you got to hold off. And also thank you to Brother Eddie, who received the women when they came in. And so, you women are definitely queens. I don't want to steal you. You're definitely queens, and if you've never heard the song Woman before, I suggest that you listen to that on your way home. Brother Devon was talking about all of you.
Where she go?
Asia and then. Okay, come on back.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello to Raheem Devon. Thank you very much for doing this. My name is Dr. Esme Sharp. I'm the president, founder, and CEO of the Bessie May Women and Family Health Center. And there we have primary care, OBGYN, women's health, mental behavior, and addiction services. And we have about 7 social service programs. I opened the Bessie May Women and Family Health Center, and I have a heart such as Michelle and Mr. Devine here. We provide counseling and resources and advocacy for women who are challenged with domestic violence, sexual violence, and human trafficking. And there's a lot of things I could say, but Bessie May, I named the health center after my grandmother. We have a 3,000 square foot building, and we're located on South Harrison Street in East Orange. I have about 40 years in health and hospitals, but I started the health center and named it after my grandmother, Bessie May, because my grandmother lived to be 103. She had 11 children, and she outlived 2 husbands, but she was a victim of domestic violence. And she lived through all that, and she was an adamant advocate. I wanted her legacy to live on. So today I stand before you, all the beautiful women who either suffered as a victim, have been challenged with domestic violence or sexual violence, or that know someone, a sister, a cousin, an aunt, a mother, a grandmother, who have been challenged with domestic violence. Thank you for taking your time out, because you may not be here for yourself, but you may be here just representing them. This is an outstanding thing that you're doing here. And I had the pleasure of being around so many wonderful people today and so many prestigious people. All of the artists and hairstylists and fashion people over there who made me put this on. and encouraged me. Thank you so much for your thoughtfulness, your kindness, for giving your heart, and most of all, for giving your time today to help us as women. Again, thank you, Mr. Devon. I really never heard of you, but just seeing what you have done, I appreciate all the work that you're doing throughout the United States and internationally, and you have our support with your continued work as well. And hopefully one day you can come to the Bessie May Women and Family Health Center. We have about 4,000 patients and clients, and we service women in the community, underserved, uninsured, and insured. We do what we can in the community to help women. And thank you all again for just giving me this moment to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I thank Asia, who's the CEO of Purple Rain, who invited me and told me about this wonderful event. I came with her today. Come on, Asia. You look fabulous.
Asia's not done. I'm talking in third person, but yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Asia Smith. Thank you again. This is our second year of working with Raheem Devon and Michelle and the Love Life Foundation, and so we are truly honored to be a part of what you guys are doing as it relates to domestic violence. So as Dr. Sharp just said, my name is Asia Smith, and I started an organization called Purple Rain about 10 years ago. And most people, when you hear the name Purple Rain, you automatically think of
Prince.
Yes, I know you do. As you should. However, the name Purple Rain means so much more. As we all know, the color purple represents power, royalty, healing, and love, but it is also, sadly, the color that represents domestic violence. But our word REIGN is spelled R-E-I-G-N, and it's an acronym for Restoration, Empowerment, Integrity, Grace, and Nobility. We're all about turning our tragedies into triumph. And like most of us in this room, I was also a victim of domestic violence, but I was that girl who you would not have expected to be a victim of domestic violence. I came from what was seemingly known as good stock, great parents, had a lot of resources, and people would never have imagined that that was my life. Did very well in my profession, and sadly I would go home and have to deal with a psychopath. As a result, very similar to Sophia, I found that I needed to get some support, but I could not go the traditional route because, again, nobody thought that I was a victim. In fact, I didn't want anybody to know that I was a victim, especially not my colleagues, my parents, my community, or anyone else. And as a result, I'm so glad that I did decide to use my story and my voice to speak out about domestic violence. I have 2 gubernatorial appointments. One is to the state of New Jersey's Domestic Violence Fatality and Near Fatality Review Board. And that board is very critical because we look at the policies and legislation and things that are not in effect that could actually assist and help victims of domestic violence. Furthermore, I work at the Shani Baraka Women's Resource Center, working with the city of Newark and Mayor Baraka. We worked together for a couple of years on putting that concept together, and it's a relief to see that it's actually there and we're able to assist so many victim survivors in the community. So again, my name is Asia. I don't want to belabor this, but I want to also thank this wonderful salon, Ms. Shalima over there. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of the makeup artists and things like that. I'm still not done getting pretty, and then we have a gala to go to tonight. But I'm going to see you guys in another month or so. We're going to put something else together too. So I look forward to working with you guys and seeing you all very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I just have to say one more thing. I need to thank my clients and my supporters for donating. When I announced that we were collecting clothes, they started bringing in slews of stuff. Designer stuff. So I wanted to thank my clients and our supporters. Our event planner who left early, I called her up about 2 weeks ago. Well, she was actually in my chair 2 weeks ago, and I was telling her about the event. and I asked her to do some work, and she came in last night and put everything together. This salon has never looked this fabulous. So I wanted to thank her. My photographer, who is like the best photographer on this side of heaven, okay? I called him up, and he, like, everyone was just so excited to be a part of the event. And last but certainly not least, our caterer, who has the best baked barbecue chicken and turkey wings on this side, and macaroni and cheese on this side of heaven too. And they are Cornbread Cafe, not in Maplewood. Right? Y'all heard me back there? Not in Maplewood. Okay, and we have some business cards for them, so I wanted to thank everyone for just participating in, and I am adamant believer in teamwork makes the dream work. So thank you again.
Thank you, everybody.